Thank you for making some time to chat today, Samina. I'm really grateful you reached out and that you've been enjoying the podcast and have given us some of your time today to share your advice, your experience, and insights. Um, what I have been finding is our viewers really appreciate hearing a little bit about your story, so they kind of know where your advice comes from as I ask you questions later on. And um, I think they also appreciate just hearing how different people have gone along their career journeys. And, some of those things might work for them, some things they might do their way, but it's always interesting to hear. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your background and kind of how you've gotten to where you are today.
Sounds good. I'll tell about my journey briefly. Um, right. So I come from Bangladesh and I studied English language and literature, completed my honors and masters there. And my result was very good. So I got the opportunity to become a lecturer in English. And in those days, if you become a lecturer in English, other faculty members will think you that you have the magical ability to do everything. So I
Uh,
did teaching, I did counseling, I was selected for having a excursion with the students. So, and then in the evening, I did tutoring with the students, taking IELTS classes, that is International English Language Teaching System. So I did career counseling from the very beginning, although I did not have the career counseling theory or the knowledge, but I connected my students when they completed their graduation or masters. I connected my students to to different banks because my students were business administration students or master's administration students. They usually complete their business education and goes to different banks. So along with teaching business English, we
right.
do career counseling so that they could find better careers. After that, in 2005, I went to England. I got married and I went to England and I started studying MA Applied Linguistics there at
Okay.
King's College, University of London. And it was huge exposures. My teachers were amazing. Tricia Hedge was my teacher, and she's the goddess of English language teaching and learning in the classroom. And she has a great book. Maybe you saw this. Tricia Hedge used to be our lecturer there. And Nick Camden. So I learned material development, stylistics, SLS, second language acquisition, introduction to linguistics. There are so many subjects I learned.
Wow.
And native students did this course in 2 years. And as an international student, I did this course in 1 year. So I didn't have time at all. I was just studying and studying.
Oh my goodness.
And
That is super tricky. And I hear that pretty often from international students that they'll do these programs in a condensed period. But yeah, please continue.
yeah, a lot. I mean, a lot of stress was there, a lot of study, and then assignment was there too. I was teaching part-time as an adult school. And again, it's the ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Language. A group of African students came there to learn English language, and they wanted to have survival job. So again, career counseling was there. I taught them English language along with them. I did career counseling so that they can find survival job. I was there a few years and then came back with my husband. And then I joined at a university in Bangladesh. And again, teaching and learning, learned lots of activities. So in 2010, we applied as a high school immigrant in Canada. In 2011, we came here in Canada and I was pregnant with my first baby. And then in 2011, my first baby came. In 2014, second one came. So for 6 years, I didn't do anything. 2011 to 2016, I didn't do anything. I was just raising my kids. And my husband was just into the career and he was developing his career. Just he was with that thing. And what did I do? Along with raising my kids, I was teaching, it's a voluntary job. I was teaching community women so that they can be more disciplined, learn how to maintain communal harmony, and lots of other things along with religious teaching in community center.
Uh,
So it was good. It was so engaging, talking with people, connecting to people and listening to their stories. It's always part of my passion. And
Mhm.
then in 2017, I started studying in York University. Sorry.
No, no, take your time. That's a lot going on to even be
Yeah.
involved while you're raising your children to also do
Mhm.
volunteering. And then after that, you're saying you went to York?
Yeah, and University of York is very diverse and it's very inclusive in every possible term. I studied there. I learned a lot of things: residential schools, indigenous study, lots of things, and involved in different activities as well. And through York, I went to different schools of TDSP, and then I was a tutor at Scarborough Pathways Education. I was teaching and tutoring high school students from York University. And then I got the opportunity to be an on-call teacher at TDSB School Board, but pandemic came. And during pandemic, people had, especially the teachers, had lots of restrictions. Some classes were online, some classes were in person, but it was lots of restrictions. And I wanted to find something different. I was looking for something different. My mind, I wanted something more.
Yeah.
And during pandemic, I was a community ambassador from a community organization. I was supporting those people so that COVID affected people get food, going to door, supporting people with food and clothes and shelter. But it was just temporary relief for the people, right? People something more, always something more, find more comfort and something tangible. So I was trying lots of things. Even I went to Canadian Armed Force.
Oh,
Yes, I'm a candidate of Canadian Armed Force. I saw one day that human resource professional, they are looking for human resource professionals, and I applied there. I completed all of their steps, and I did very good in CFAT test, and only I left the basic training. It was very physical, and I learned that during that time I learned I have to go outside of Canada and then outside of Toronto. And my children were very little, young, so
mm,
I just left the thought of going there. But
understandable.
it was a great experience. I mean, Canadian Armed Force people were very, very courteous, chivalrous, and very, very gentle. I have a mentor there, Amber Orland. She's amazing. I learned something there. I mean, something ignited in me. I saw people who working there had a profound sense of duty and responsibility,
Yeah.
and perhaps confronting challenges in their personal lives. So I felt deeply moved by their attitude, and um, I got energy. I wanted to look something more and more. And one of the consultant at Access Employment suddenly shared the course content of career development practitioner program at George Brown College. And I applied.
I see. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I applied there and I got accepted at
Nice.
George Brown College. So it was 2 year post-graduation program. And when I started in 2021, a career development practitioner program at George Brown College, for the first time, I felt, oh God, I belong here. It
Oh,
is something for me. And as I have a teaching degree, I have English language and linguistic degree. So merging to this whole course and getting involved to this whole course of career counseling was easier for me. I didn't find it something new. I found lots of learning, but I
yeah.
enjoyed the learning. And our teachers, Gillian Johnston, and yeah,
Right.
Diane Moore,
Thing.
Philip Pettigrew, Sunny Wang, they are amazing. They knew how to connect the students to different career. They know how to make the students job ready and get involved with them. One day what happened in my first semester, I took maybe 7 courses, and at 3 a.m. at night, I submitted my one assignment to Philip Pettigrew, and I went to sleep. I was dreaming that, oh God, I missed some paras, and
Oh,
got up at 4 a.m. I wrote it again and sent it to Philip Pettigrew. Philip was our teacher and the course coordinator.
yeah.
Just at 5 a.m. in the morning, he responded. It's very unusual. that
Oh,
Samina, it's okay, it's okay. I will not mark your first paper, I will mark your second paper. That is modified one. Do you understand that our teachers understand that how much anxious we were and we needed support? It was huge mental support as a student. And, I think he did with everyone. Okay, because
that's
students were so anxious and they wanted to do better. Maybe they missed something, they wanted to modify the assignment, send it back, and immediately getting response. It's a huge work. It's not only Philip Pettigrew, Diane, Gillian, Sunny Wang, everyone. Everyone did the response within 1 day.
wow. What an and I've gotten to meet some of them. They're an
Yeah.
amazing team.
They are an amazing team. They are, and they know what is the meaning of inclusion. They know the struggle of the students, and they understand it. They value it so much. They connected the people to different careers. And first, just at the end of my first semester, it was not ended. Gillian Johnson sent me job posting. It was virtual fair at VPI Working Solution, and through virtual fair, I got selected. VPI took my 5 interviews, 3 panel interview, 2 individual interview. And I didn't complete my study in the first semester, but I got selected as a full-timer, and it was a resource specialist post.
Wow.
After that, I completed in 2 years, I completed my full course, Career Development Practitioner Program, but I started doing work. When I joined VPI, Roseanne and then Angelica, you know Angelica, right? Angelica
I did.
Credin.
I just
Yeah,
spoke to
yeah.
Angelica. Actually, she was
Mhm.
on a couple episodes ago.
Right. Angelica trained me, and then Ali, Roseanne, Tina Cassidy, they trained me very well.
Oh,
VPI is
okay.
perfect for the beginners.
Wow.
For the beginners, and they have a smart simple one app, and for this they have, I'm an audiovisual learner, they have all the videos. So in 3 weeks I completed my training. I just jumped into the work. I learned a lot about resource center and how to support the client. I started doing practical thing. What I'm learning in career development practitioner program, I implemented all those things. And in 2 years, I got 2 promotion. I became safety resources specialist, and then I became employment consultant. I completed my course there. So they were supportive.
Oh,
But I
man.
moved towards a different organization.
Okay.
And
As you got more experience in that kind of thing.
yeah, I was in charge of Sea Women Bridging Program.
Oh, wow.
And at Mennonite New Life Center. And then I supported all those sea women, tech women who come from different countries, people from Ukraine, people from India, Pakistan, people from Syria. All of these women were in the Sea Women Bridging Program, and it was an employment consultant and job developer post. It's a combination post. So I was developing materials for them, taking classes, bridging classes, and my material development expertise, I um, I got it from King's College because I did a course there. And then I developed the material for bridging program. I did the counseling and do the job coach, and then I connected them to the employers. Okay, I tried my level best. It's not well, connecting them to the employers. To tech field so that they could find opportunities, they could find placement, different placement. And what I find that when I was a safety resources specialist, and I took 60 hours of training for youth program in 2 weeks. Every cohort got 60 hours of training, and after completing 60 hours of training, they got connected to different placement to different employers. And here in bridging program, I did the same thing, that they got bridging classes, and then after that connecting to the employers. And when I came here at Texas Employment, I found a little bit different because it was some job development. I was not a job developer. I was an employment consultant. And I went to different hotels, Oakville and Brampton, to collect the refugee client. And I saw that when we took the intake, and then support the client so that they can understand how to tailor the resume and prepare them for the job interview. And then when we connect the client to the employer liaison or job developer, um, it's not, it's a general observation. It's not any, it's not, it's a general observation. In every 30 clients, maybe 2 or 3 clients got placement, or in every 60 clients, maybe 5 clients got placement or opportunities in the hiring event. So I thought maybe the training, if the employment service training is more consolidated, maybe like SEFI program, if it is 2 weeks, 60 hours of consolidated employment service training, maybe uh, employer liaison just found job ready client and got them connected to the employer, and employer found them very job ready, prepared, and easily hired them. But that was not happening here. And I do not want to tell them in terms of organization, because the practice is there that once we see the client, we took the intake, we prepare them to some extent, and we connect them to the employer liaison or job developer. So in hiring event, it happens that few clients got the placement or job, and most of the clients do not get hired. So I found that if the employment service training is more consolidated, maybe it would be better and the client would find more meaningful employment. But there are difference of opinion. 4 plus 5 is 9, and 8 plus 1 is 9 too, right? So there are different ways of reaching the target. So it is my opinion that employment service training should be more consolidated. Maybe different person will disagree with me. I don't know. It is just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is my journey, and
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Samina, and I think
yeah,
that's a valuable insight as well because 'cause you've been part of it, you've seen how
yeah.
it works. So that's well worth considering.
Mhm,
For the other career professionals watching, this podcast, it's definitely something I think worth thinking about. Um,
mhm,
and what an amazing journey. That's, interesting how it kinda came full circle for you because you mentioned that you used to
mhm.
do career counseling because people expected it of an English teacher, which is, a lot to put on your plate as someone with already, a full-time role teaching, the English program to now take on tutoring and helping people adjust and also doing career counseling. But, my question is, what was the main difference in your approach to career counseling after you received the training, from the program with Jillian? Um, what did you do differently? Early on, I know you kind of just went by instinct, and later on, you had the training. So, does anything come to mind that was, something you changed after going through the program?
Yes, I have become more matured. I was more aware of the program. And during those time, 15 years ago, when I was teaching at a university and doing career counseling without even knowing the theories, I was flexible. I was easy. I was teaching and supporting the students. My main goal was to make the students to be job ready and prepare them for their banking job. I was not, ignorance is bliss. I was not very, I was not very conscious. But yes, as I was a good teacher and committed teacher, I put my whole heart to the student.
Right.
But when I learned the theories, I became more conscious. I think a lot. Before getting decision, I think twice or thrice. And then there are, I completed code of ethics in career development practitioner program. There are so many ethics. There are so many things, whether how much you will involve with the client and how to maintain the distance, how to be more professional and not to be involved with the client personally. There are so many rules, and even when you go outside for a break, you cannot leave the computer open. It has to be locked, right? There
Right.
are so many confidential information, you have to deal with it, and maintaining confidentiality. And it's a diverse group of client, supporting the client, maintaining the confidentiality, and understanding clients' concern, their goals, their career path, and what do they want. It is very important. I remember lots of clients, when they came to me, they were completely confused. They
Yeah,
do not know how to start and what career path they are going to take, because they're so, getting started is so difficult. We feel it too, right? Getting started and doing something and getting involved with something and finding something where we belong. It is a difficult journey.
it is.
Um,
Absolutely, it is.
one of the story I can share. One of the teacher wanted to change her career, and she didn't know what to do after COVID. And I went to Canada Job Bank, and it's not only job board. There are so many resources in Canada Job Bank. If you go to the at the top, click on career planning. In that career planning, there is a career quizzes.
Oh,
And if any client only spend 25 minutes and answer all those quizzes, based on their skill, interest, and their education, they will find at least 50 options of moving forward. So there are so many resources and support the client who are confused.
that is super helpful, and we'll make sure to put a link to that, um, Canada Job Bank website and quiz section in the
Mhm,
description. So if you're watching
mhm.
this and you're curious about it, check the comments, check the description. We'll put the link there that Samina has
Thank you.
recommended. And I think it's, yeah, it's worth doing that because it might give you some new ideas, like you're saying, and a sense of some possible starting points, right? Because it's so true. It's really difficult sometimes. You might know you don't want to do what you're currently doing, but you're not sure what's next. And I think those quizzes are, kind of a fun way to discover some possibilities.
Of course, and sometimes people do not know what is their exact values, their choices. Sometimes they started something. So many accountants, right, change their journeys. You hear from Gillian.
Yeah.
So many engineers change their journey after coming here. So many doctors who come from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, they are not becoming a doctor here. They are started a career in a different way, maybe technician, maybe a dietitian, but they are now happy. So coming here, understanding the journey, what is the career goal, it's very important. And there are so many resources available if we just support the client. Another way of motivational interview I learned is from Sunny One. Motivational interview, it's not solution focused. Motivational interview is supporting the client so that they can understand their own motivation within themselves and
Ah,
finally find out what they want. It is discovering their own self. So if we are, I'm trained in motivational interview. So if we adopt this approach and ask the question according to the rule of motivational interview, client will be so self-sufficient and understand his or her way along the way. So we do not need to give them any solution focused thing. We do not need to provide the solution. We'll just ask question. And while asking question, client will find their own self-discovery. And it's a huge popular method. And I love this. I have some videos. If you want, I can share it with the audience.
yeah, please send us the links. We'll include those in the description as well. And that is
Yeah.
really interesting. Um, can you give us an example of one of those questions that someone might get asked as they do something like a motivational interview? Are there any questions that come to mind that we can think about?
For example, how much motivated are you? If you suppose a single mother wants to start a career journey and wants to become an admin assistant without having any degree or uh, without certified on the field, and she wants to become admin assistant. So there are so many questions, but this is a leveler question that how much motivated are you in a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10? And then if the client says it is 8 or it is 7, if the client says 2 or 3, the motivation level will be understood on both sides. So there are so many leveler questions. There are so many evoking questions. There are so many questions that make the client understand what they really want. Sometimes the client come without understanding what they really want. So if we ask them question, um, so if we understand their life, right, it is we have career dimensional I learned this from Gillian Johnson. Personal and environmental, job and work objective, and then skills requirement. If we ask this question, their skills, their requirement, and whether they are ready for the career objective or not, and whether they are single mother, whether they need any childcare support or not, whether they will go to work near their home or a little bit at a distance. There's so many questions. When we ask those questions, gradually we understand what kind of career he or she is looking for. And once we understand the career, understand the question, and then understand the answers as well, we can make a map, a diagram that what this client is looking for based on those specific questions. And there are employability dimensions, and there are 8 questions. And if we follow those employment maintenance, career management, and career exploration, work objective, and finally job retention questions, maybe we'll find a map and diagram what the client is looking for.
Oh, that is really cool, Samina, and I really think that, that will give people something to think about. I would encourage them to try this process, to watch the videos you share, because even a simple question like, "Do you wanna work close to home, or do you wanna commute to the city?" Or depending where you are, that's such an interesting way to discover more about what you're looking for, and it's not, a difficult question like, "Well, what do you wanna do?" It's more the things around it that will eventually go, "Well, here are some options that fit all these, criteria you have for yourself." Really, really interesting, and if people wanna talk to you, Samina, if people see this and they wanna reach out or, learn more about, kind of the work you do, can they reach out to you on LinkedIn? Is that alright? Or is there somewhere else you would prefer to be contacted?
No, LinkedIn will be fine. I'm open to LinkedIn. And I can share my LinkedIn link with you, and you can share it with the audience.
Yes,
And I usually provide resume tips too, and the interview preparation tips. Most of the client, when I deal with the newcomers, they do not understand the word tailoring the resume. It's so new to them. Maybe they're doctors, engineers, maybe tech professionals, but tailoring resume is so, this is the communication. They're communicative in English, but learning new languages, coming here and understanding business English, it's really new for them. For example, when we come here, if I share my journey, we used to use cheap, this word, which is less expensive in Asia. But
yes,
coming here, we learned that cheap is something derogatory. Reasonable would sound more better, right? So
right.
like this, so many words. For example, performance review.
Ah, that's a great point.
After joining any work, in 2 months or 3 months, we usually face performance review. I didn't see performance review in Bangladesh, India, or I didn't see it in England even. But here, performance review is a very common culture, and manager usually provide feedback, constructive criticism, first compliment, and finally some negative things come. If we do not know about this performance review, right, and if we come from Asia, from other countries, we may take this as an insult and it may hurt our ego, right? But if we know that it's very common culture in Canada, we may take this as a room to grow up, right? And there is always room for growing up professionally and personally as well. So these are some things we can, for example, that we are talking about the tailoring resume. Newcomers do not understand what is the meaning of tailoring resume. And if the resume doesn't have the keywords, then it cannot pass through the ATS, applicant tracking system.
Right. Right.
What happened that I always tell that job posting is the best friend. When we see any job posting, we find the keywords and put those keywords in the resume so that it can pass through ATS, or even it is not ATS, human resource manager is seeing the resume. He or she can easily understand that it is tailored enough according to the job posting, and the applicant will find an interview call. So these are all different kind of tips. And sometimes I facilitate resume workshop, and most of the time client do not understand what are the keywords they will be looking for from the job posting. So I make them to do one exercises so that they could understand what are the keywords to find from the job posting. There are so many things, networking, right? How to maintain networking. I just read a book, Suzanne Cain. it's she wrote a book called The Power of Introvert People. Okay, so she talked about introvert people, that so many people think that we are introvert, we cannot do public speaking, we cannot maintain networking. But once they are a little brave and come outside, maybe they will find other people are thinking the same way, because most of the people we find that they're introvert, they uh, they become extrovert because of their living, right?
Right.
So when I read this book, Susan Skeen, the quiet people, the power of introvert people, I understood that if we want to connect with people, and if we want to go to different hiring event, and although we are introvert, we just talk in a little group, and through a little group, maybe we share our experiences, we'll listen, and we need to be our authentic self. We do not need to sell ourselves. We do not need to pretend what we are not, right? It's better to be our authentic self and try to listen, understand, and give other people to ask questions. And if it is possible, if we have our business card, if we have our resume, we can share the resume with the professional. So always we can start with a small group of people in the hiring event or in the networking event, so that we can have courage, we can have our motivation back, and gradually maybe we will move towards the big group and we can communicate more. And it's always better to ready our elevator pitch in 2 minutes, please. Uh, you know, talking our own self, right? Our professional journey in 2 minutes is really difficult. What to say and what not to say. It's a training we usually give to the client. So if we are properly trained, we know how to be prepared for elevator pitch. We can share our resume. We can be actively involved in listening and understanding the question, and share our resume and share our work experience as well. So if we are in this way, in our authentic self, maybe we'll find some connection which help us to move towards meaningful employment. So there are so many tips, but I think we do not have time, right?
No, I really appreciate those, Samina. Thank you for sharing them. We are
Yeah.
at the end of the time I asked you for today, so thank you so much for spending this, opportunity with us, for sharing your experience and advice. I think people will really appreciate the tips that we have heard from you today. So thank you for highlighting some of these examples and ways that we can network and tailor our resumes and think about, what we want to do. So again, yeah, really appreciate you spending the time with us today. And so interesting to hear you've actually been through the course that Jillian taught, um, and that you know some of the other people in this community. I think that's one of the most interesting parts of doing this, is hearing how many people have supported each other along the way. So again, thank you for your time today. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with job seekers or other career professionals before we close off the episode?
Thank you so much, Imran. I always love your show. You're doing an amazing job. It's a very good platform to share our journey. And sometimes we talk a lot, sometimes we talk less, but still, it's a good try, right? To start conversation.
Yes.
Uh, okay, my final thought about networking, that when newcomers come, they feel shy, and they always feel a kind of fear work, that maybe they will appear as pushy or desperate, and they do not go for approaching to people. So we need to change our mindset. We need to allow ourselves to approach others. And in Canadian culture, networking is always welcome, and employers are very inclusive. They want to listen from the job seekers. They want to hear. And one of the thing is information interview. Information interview is sharing our information through a professional. And we always call or write an email to any professional in our field for 30 minutes information interview, right? And it is completely common and acceptable culture in Canada. So if the job seeker use this information interview, maybe they will find job opportunities. Maybe they will find good ways to connect to professionals and share their resumes, and hopefully they will find job interviews as well.
Thank you so much, Samina. That's a great suggestion, and I hope people take advantage of that,
Mhm,
and use the resources that you've spoken about. And again, we'll provide those in the description, and in the
mhm.
comments. So thank you again, Samina, and I hope you have an amazing weekend.
You too. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Talk soon. Bye.